Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Anwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
Okay, and we're live. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to our Zoom participants and good afternoon to our FB Live viewers. This is Irish Malando, your host. Welcome to another inspiring and jam-packed e-learning session powered by Ariva Academy. The topic for today is a Lenten season offering entitled The Pursuit of Meaning, Your Spiritual Journey and Faith in Times of Crisis. This online learning session is designed to enrich one's spiritual journey by focusing on everyday challenges that obstruct one's relationship with God, using a blend of scripture, personal life experiences, and stories of hope and inspiration. In this live webinar, you will gain a deep understanding and appreciation of God's Word and how to incorporate it in our daily lives. Before I introduce our speaker, please allow me to acknowledge our out of the country participants and some few house rules. Thank you for joining us for out of the country participants coming from Malaysia, Italy, United States. And for us to have a smooth flow of our e-learning session, here are the house rules. We will be having a 2 to 3 minute break after the presentation of our guest speaker and before we move on to our question and answer. Participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by the administrator during discussion to avoid interruptions. Questions will be entertained after each topic of the session. For questions and clarifications during the provided time, after each topic, please click the raise button. Again, please click the raise button for the administrator to enable the microphone for live questions. Questions may also be given via chat. One question at a time will be entertained. For comments and feedback, please scan this QR code and it will be directed to our feedback form. Please send us your feedback and for us to improve our future e-learning sessions. Okay, shall we start? Now I'll be introducing our speaker. Our speaker today is the consultor of CBCP Episcopal Commission on Culture. She is also the provincial supervisor of PDDM, Sisters Disciples of the Divine Master, Philippine, Taiwan, Hong Kong province. A very timely topic during this Holy Week and these trying times, as she will discuss about the pursuit of meaning, your spiritual journey and faith in time of crisis. Let's now welcome Sister Anthony Basa. Sister Anthony?
Hello, Irish, and
Good
hello.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello, everyone, and a blessed celebration of the Holy Week. It's already Holy Saturday, and we've been through the Holy Week already. And I would like to anticipate my gratitude to my Ariva family for this opportunity to give hope, faith, and love to everyone out there, especially in this time of crisis, and especially that the enhanced community quarantine will be extended up to April 30. So we need something to hold on to. So this is Holy Saturday, and I would like to share something on, where is my, okay. I want to share something, am I seen, Irish?
Not
I have,
yet.
okay. I am seeing my PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Am I on?
Not yet, sister.
Not yet. PowerPoint. Oh, sorry about this.
We're good.
All right. Okay. Well, is this okay now?
Yes, sister. We
Okay.
can see your PowerPoint now.
Yeah. But let's see. But I can manipulate it. Sorry. It does not move from my end. Is it moving there?
Not yet, sister, but we have copies. We have a
Uh-huh.
copy. We can just advise us. Oh,
But it's open at my end, so sorry. Okay. What do I need to do? Share or what? Sorry.
it's okay now.
It's okay now?
Mhm.
It's not moving at on my end. The
No.
PowerPoint.
Just advise us for next slide, sister, so we can move.
Okay. So my slide is on the Holy Saturday. Okay, something. So it's. Am I on now again?
Okay na po yan, sister. Makakontrol nyo na po yan.
Okay. So is it at my end na? Okay. Na.
Yes,
Sige
yes,
po.
sister.
Okay.
You can check the slides now.
Okay, sorry. So something strange is happening today. And because it's Holy Saturday, this is an excerpt from one of the ancient homilies read every Holy Saturday during the office of when we pray the office of the readings. Something strange is happening today, and there is a great silence over all the earth, a great silence and stillness, a great silence because the King sleeps. The earth was in terror and was still, because God slept in the flesh and raised up those who were sleeping from the ages. God has died in the flesh and the underworld has trembled. So the world today is at a standstill. Everybody is afraid, insecure, helpless. Power, science, money become nothing in the face of this pandemic, in this global crisis, the coronavirus. and even the seat of the Catholic Church feel the crisis. I quote from Pope Francis during his Urbi et Orbi last March 27, 2020. Actually, Urbi et Orbi, this blessing, is given only on special occasions like Easter and December and Christmas. But since we are in a different situation, in a special situation, our Pope deemed it necessary to give this special blessing. For weeks now, it had been evening, the Pope said during his homily. Thick darkness has gathered over our squares, our streets, and our cities. It has taken over our lives, filling everything with a deafening silence and a distressing void that stops everything as it passes by. We feel it in the air. We notice it in people's gestures. Their glances give them away. We find ourselves afraid and lost. So, what is a crisis? I've gathered information about crisis and I've summarized it into this. A crisis is any event that is going or expected to lead to an unstable and dangerous situation affecting an individual, group, community, or the whole society. And at this moment, it is affecting the whole world. That's why it is called pandemic. In medical terms, a crisis is a turning point for better or worse in an acute disease. The crossroads a patient reaches, the point at which one will either take the road to recovery or to death. So our patients, COVID patients, are really experiencing this medical or physical crisis in their life. They do not know what will happen to them. Having COVID-19 nowadays is like a death sentence to one who has it already. And also, it's also a danger to those who are in contact with these people. That's why we have the contact tracing, as we say. The characteristics of a crisis is are unexpected and unwanted. They are unexpected and unwanted. Of course, we are not ready for this because we are not expecting this to happen. It seems just far away when it was in China or Hong Kong, but now it's here in our country already. It creates uncertainty and insecurity. Everybody feels afraid of, they fear the uncertain times. They feel insecure. And it is seen as a threat to important goals. It's a difficulty and a burden. A lot of celebrations were cancelled or postponed because of this. So it has been a threat, and we do not know what to do. We have to be creative in responding to difficult situations such as a crisis. The crisis may be, first of all, financial. Because of this pandemic, of this crisis, many are unemployed. There is no business. Only the basic essentials, the necessities in life are needed now. So everything is closed. So there is a crisis financially, both the poor and the rich. Of course, it's obvious that it is a health crisis. Anybody can be attacked by this virus. That's why all of us are asked to be covered, to protect ourselves with face masks and gloves, and even sanitize our surroundings, and every now and then disinfect. So it is a threat to health. So it's a health crisis also. Relationship. Those who are dying with this virus, they are just alone. Their family wants to reach out to them, but they cannot go to them and console their family. And they die alone and have to be cremated within 24 hours, and they don't even get the right of funeral, which is in our culture. And also the friends and families don't even have a chance to pay their last respects to those who are afflicted by this virus. So it's a relationship crisis also. And if it's a health, financial, relationship crisis, it can be a personal crisis. Others are becoming depressed, stressed, and others are even contemplating suicide because they are unsure of what will happen to them. They don't want to pass this virus to their families, so they are contemplating of taking their own life just to escape from all of this. Environmental. Now we are suddenly washing our hands every now and then. We are suddenly concerned about the cleanliness of our surroundings. We suddenly need to sanitize, to disinfect. It's an environmental crisis as well. And spiritual. We ask a lot of questions. Why? What? How? Why is this happening to us? Where can we hold on to? Where do we go now? So this is a spiritual crisis as well. So finding meaning in the crisis of Holy Week, a journey of faith of those who were with Jesus. I will mention some persons in the scriptures who played a role in the journey of Holy Week, how they handled the crisis situations they were in. And we might even find ourselves in each of these persons. It is good to see how we might learn from them what to do and what not to do when we find ourselves in different crises. First is, I know you are very familiar with this character in the scriptures, Judas Iscariot. Last Wednesday, we just commemorated what we call the Spy Wednesday because it was last Wednesday when the gospel was all about Judas selling Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. That would be about 25 US dollars, the price of a slave. So it was a Spy Wednesday because it was the time Judas started to betray Jesus, his friend, his master. And on Holy Thursday, when Jesus washed the feet of the disciples, Jesus already knew that Judas was about to betray him. But it did not stop Jesus to still show his love for Judas. He still washed the feet of Judas. And then suddenly the virus of Satan entered Judas and he never got well. Judas never got well because he does not have enough antibodies. He even wanted to contaminate Jesus by not implementing social distance. He kissed Jesus, the kiss of betrayal, the kiss of a traitor. He was shameless enough to even kiss Jesus because it was night then and he needed to point out who Jesus is to the arresting soldiers. And he pointed Jesus. The sign was to kiss Jesus. Judas actually regretted what he did and threw away the 30 pieces of silver. But his antibodies were not enough to realize that the only remedy for his possession, for the possession of Satan in his body, for this virus, this contamination, is Jesus himself, whom he betrayed. He has witnessed that he's witnessed what Jesus has done, the many miracles that Jesus has done. He heard the preachings of Jesus. He was with him. Jesus even gave him a powerful position as the holder, as the treasurer of the group. But he did not really listen to Jesus. He was not really able to internalize the teachings of Jesus. He was not really able to see the wonders that what Jesus has done to all the people by giving sight to the blind, raising Lazarus from the dead. Jesus, the preoccupation of Judas was just money. Judas was in crisis, but he did not see that crisis can be opportunity. Almost, Judas almost saw that because he regretted, but he did not trust in the loving forgiveness of Jesus, whom he was with for 3 years. In Judas, who betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, according to the Gospel of Matthew, the lesson might be of potential distraction. The love of money or greed may bring upon a person. Nowadays, many of us can also relate ourselves with Judas. A lot of people are in need, and money are also flowing and given to those people in power to distribute this to those who are in need. But we wonder, do they really reach the people who need them? So, is there a Judas Iscariot in us? Another character in the Bible whom we are familiar with is Saint Peter. we know Saint Peter is the one who denied Jesus 3 times. No? But he was really following Jesus from the time Jesus was sentenced, when Jesus was arrested. Peter was already following Jesus, brave enough to follow Jesus even at a distance. As Archbishop Sophia said, Peter was a brave man to follow Jesus and even used the sword to protect the Lord from the arresting soldiers. But when Peter was asked by some people if he knew Jesus, he denied Jesus. No, I do not know him. He denied his very friend. He denied his very master. Yes, Peter was brave, but it's just that he reached a moment of weakness beyond endurance. The Lord knows that we are not bad. The Lord knows what is in our heart. And he also knows that sometimes we are weak and fragile. But what the difference between Peter and Judas, Peter knows what to do with his crisis. When he denied Jesus 3 times, the cock crowed and Jesus and Peter wept. If Coach Bam said it's okay not to be okay, maybe I could add, it's okay to weep if you need to weep, to cry if you need to cry, like Peter. Peter continued to trust in the Lord, even if he failed him by denying him. Even if we cannot forgive ourselves, God still forgives because God's love for us is greater than our greatest sin. God's love is greater than our hearts. I remember when my mama died. It was also when when my mother had cancer. It was also a moment of crisis for me because I am the eldest in the family, and I just professed my vow. So I asked God a lot of questions like, why only now, and why when I responded to your call, why? But during that time, the course of the journey, I also got the answers. I needed my religious vows to be strong enough to be with my family and accompany them in this journey. And then when my mother died, during the wake, my aunties, my relatives told us, brothers and sisters, we are 3 in the family and my father, they told us, you go to your mother, you whisper to her the words of forgiveness so that it will be easy for her to be freed from purgatory, as we believe. So we have that need. So one night when it was my turn to stay awake and be with my mother during the wake, I went to her casket and looked at her and tried to recall, because if you're going to forgive someone, you need to recall the sins that she has committed. I need to remember the sins that she has done to me. My mother is not perfect. But when I looked at her, my mother was almost smiling. She's just like sleeping very serenely. When I look at the face of my mother in the casket, the memories that flashed into my memory were not sins of my mother, but the love and care that I have experienced from her. The times when I get sick and she would care for me, the times when I had problems and I can run to her, the times when I needed someone to talk to like a friend, my mother was there. And I did not remember any sin that she committed at all. So that time I also told myself when I was looking at her, that my mother, the remains of my mother, if I, a sinner, an unworthy person, could not remember the sins of my mother, but only the good things that she has done to me, what more God, who created us, who loves us, His breath is our breath is God's breath. So it gave me consolation that my mother does not need to free her from purgatory. I believe that with that With that reflection, she is now in heaven with God. Because what God remembers is the suffering of my mother, the love that she showed us during her lifetime. And it also consoled me because suddenly I did not become afraid of death. So going back to Peter in his denial, we learned that a person could be weak, but we just need to go back to the one who loves us first, to the one who forgives us, to the one who, even if we deny him, will not deny us, to whom, even if we are unfaithful, will always be faithful. The disciples who ran away, the friends of Jesus during the time, especially during the arrest, they all ran away, they all escaped. Of course, for fear of their life, fear of getting arrested, fear of being associated with Jesus, who was accused of being a criminal. Fear made the disciples run away. In crisis moments, there are three responses available for us. First is first is flight, to flee, to run away, to escape the situation. Then another one is to fight, to be violent, to be aggressive. And the third one is to face the situation and make sense out of the situation. Or face the situation, make sense and meaning out of it. Sometimes we get lost in life. We divert roads. Sometimes we do not know where to go. And it's okay also to get lost at times. It's okay to divert roads. What is important is that we know where to go back. The disciples ran away and were scattered. But you know what? They all found themselves again together in the upper room where Jesus used to meet them together. They got lost, but they know where to go back. They know where their home is. So they found themselves together then in the upper room waiting for Jesus, trusting that Jesus will fulfill his promise, that he will rise again from the dead. Another character in the Bible whom we are very familiar with, especially during Holy Week, is Pontius Pilate. And we usually associate Pontius Pilate with those who have authority or in power, politicians, because Pilate was a governor. And during the time of Emperor Tiberius, he was responsible for tax collection, very powerful, managing major land projects such as construction of new buildings, and he was the highest judge in the province. He also commanded an army of auxiliary troops. However, if serious threats were imminent, Roman governors would seek support from the higher ranking governor of Syria, which is Pontius Pilate. In other words, he has power. He has power. But being face to face with Jesus, Pontius Pilate knew deep in his heart that Jesus was innocent. He wanted to release him. Pilate found no case against Jesus. But to appease the crowds that had gathered to watch the scandal that was a man who was claimed to be king of the Jews, he had Jesus scourged. Baka maawa yung mga tao. Pilate thought that might be enough, but people wanted more. They want Jesus crucified and to release Barabbas. And Pilate eventually concedes to the people, and Jesus is condemned to death. But not before Pilate asks for water to wash his hands. It's also an act which is very familiar to us of Pontius Pilate. An act to absolve himself from the death, from the blood of an innocent person who is Jesus. He really believes deep in his heart that he is innocent, otherwise he wouldn't wash his hands. In today's pandemic of coronavirus, the washing of hands is a necessity to protect us from the virus. But in this act of Pontius Pilate, we see his paradox. The belief in Jesus' innocence, and yet he lacks the courage to act upon this belief. Despite previously asserting that he has power to do so. if we would recall, he told Jesus, would you not tell me anything? You know, I have the power to release you. Why are you so silent? Pilate was a coward, and he did not have the backbone or the balls to stand for what is right and to fight for his principles. Then we have Saint John the Beloved. John is a true friend of Jesus. But of course, John has his own weakness. Remember that the mother of James and John was telling Jesus, "Oh, could you give my son's position in your kingdom? One to sit at your right and the other to sit at your left." And Jesus told the mother of James and John, "Do you know what you're talking about? Can they drink the cup that I am going to drink?" Yes, John had his own weakness also, his own ambition. But he stayed with Jesus till the end. He did not escape. And eventually, he took the mother of Jesus, who became alone and unaware because Mary lost her husband and Mary lost her son. And Jesus told John on the cross, "John, behold your mother, son, behold your mother, behold your son." So from that time on, John took Mary to his home and took care of her as his own mother. So there is also a true friend, Mary and the other woman who stood by Jesus. Actually, there are a lot of things that Mary did not understand about his son. Many things that Jesus said or did, Mary was not able to understand it. But she pondered it all in her heart and just believed and trusted in the mission of her son and in her mission also, in the salvation. But of course, even if Mary did not understand everything, she followed the will of God. She also asked questions. She's a very strong woman. And the other woman who were considered that time in the Jewish time, the women are marginalized. They are second class. So, but now I remember the frontliners. Some frontliners are experiencing this being marginalized, not accepted by their own family or barangays because they might pass on the virus to them. So now they are the new homeless. That's why there are a lot of institutions opening their their rooms for our frontliners, wherever they are, whether in the medical field, janitorial field, anybody who would need a home, because they are the new homeless now. And I'm sure we are also familiar with the good thief and Simon of Cyrene. They are the people who really do not know Jesus. Jesus is a stranger to them, and maybe their characters are just accidental, but they tell us something also. They tell us also a lesson. Even if, like the good thief, he believes that he deserves to be crucified on the cross. And he believes that Jesus does not deserve to be crucified on the cross. So that he prayed. It was just like a prayer to Jesus when he talked to Jesus. He told Jesus, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." And at that moment, Jesus granted his prayer. From now on, you will be with me in paradise. Actually, if you would look at it logically, the good thief was the first one to enter heaven with Jesus, the first one to be canonized by Jesus. With just one prayer, Jesus' heart was moved and granted the prayer of the good thief. And there was Simon of Cyrene who was just, compelled, pushed by the soldiers to help Jesus because Jesus was already at the point of exhaustion. And still, well, Simon of Cyrene can actually, they can refuse. Simon of Cyrene can refuse not to carry the cross of Jesus. But maybe he was also touched by how Jesus was so exhausted, was depleted of energy, of strength. And so he helped Jesus. So sometimes you can also be Simon of Cyrene, who can help another stranger, even if you do not know the stranger. So you can be this person. And of course, the person who is the reason why we are celebrating the Holy Week, Jesus himself. Let us see the way of the cross. We will not go to the 14 way of the cross, but see how the spiritual journey of Jesus was also. Nobody is in Christ is in greater crisis than Jesus himself during the Holy Week. Let us take a closer look at Jesus. Behold the Son of God. Behold the man. Behold Jesus Christ. Look at his wounded body and heart. What crisis do you have or experience that Jesus himself did not undergo or carry upon himself? Meron ka bang karanasan na palagay mo hindi naranasan ni Jesus? Talking about being locked down and without food. Maybe our quarantine is longer because it extended up to 45 days. But you can still go to the groceries. There are still people who can give us food. But Jesus was driven by the Spirit into the desert and stayed there for 40 days and 40 nights without food. Alone. Oh, not quite alone. Satan was there like coronavirus, wanting to get into Jesus and wanting to infect him. But Jesus cannot be infected because his immunity is very strong. Later we will see why the immunity of Jesus is very strong. That's why the virus of Satan was not able to enter into Jesus Christ and was able to get out from the desert still intact, even if he was hungry for 40 days. Homeless, Bacamo, and exiled. Jesus experienced being homeless and exiled. When he was about to be born, Jesus and Mary and Joseph were looking for a house where they could stay, and so that Mary could give birth to Jesus. But no one would allow them to enter. Maybe sometimes you are like that. People are trying to knock at our doors because that person might have a virus. We would not allow the person to enter our home. But Jesus was born in a manger, sabsaban, where the animals are, the barn. Homeless, exiled. At a young age, Jesus has to be fled to Egypt. So nag-OFW din si Jesus. Afraid and lonely. Remember the agony in the garden when Jesus sweat with blood and cried with blood, tears of blood, because of so much fear, afraid. Who would not be afraid if you're going to be crucified, if you're going to be scourged to death, if you will be dying a criminal death? Who would not be afraid? And he was lonely because even the disciples who was with him slept. They can't even be awakened and be with Jesus during the moment of crisis of Jesus. Jesus experienced being afraid to the max. He even wanted to give up. He even asked God if Lord, if this cup, if I may pass away from this cup, or may this cup pass, but your will be done, not my will. So Jesus almost gave us up. But he did not give us up because he wanted to die for our sake. So I also remember our frontliners here, especially the doctors. They know the danger of being or taking care of the patient, especially firsthand, when you are face to face with the patient. They have an option to give up, just go home and stay home and be safe. But they opted to stay, even if it means giving their very life to them, because in giving their life, others will live. So Jesus experienced that also. And our doctors are experiencing that, being afraid and being lonely. Not only the doctors, of course, all kinds of frontliners are experiencing being afraid and being lonely, being tired, being exhausted, betrayed and abandoned. Your good friend betrayed you with a kiss, and the feeling of abandonment to the point of asking his father himself, my God, why have you forsaken me? Betrayed and abandoned. Shamed and tortured. When Jesus was crucified on the cross, they even stripped him naked. Can you imagine a person on the cross, naked, and crying out for help, crying because he was thirsty? He was shamed, he was tortured. So you cannot say that Jesus will not understand what you are going through if you are mentally tortured or physically tortured or being shamed. Jesus himself experienced that one. Injustice, Barabbas was set free, and Jesus, who was innocent, was the one crucified. Finally, Jesus experienced the death of a criminal. So what crisis do we have or experience that Jesus himself did not undergo or carry upon himself? There was nothing left in the body of Jesus that was not wounded. Where are your wounds? Are your wounds on the head of Jesus crowned with thorns? You have mental struggles? Is your wound in the heart of Jesus pierced with a sharp lance? You have emotional struggles? Are your wounds all over the scourged body of Jesus? Are you experiencing physical pain in the daily struggles of life? Behold Jesus. Behold the man. He knows it. He understands. He has experienced all of this. Crisis is a decisive moment, a turning point. And if we focus on the turning point, we might ask, toward where are we turning? Or toward where are we returning? We should know where our home is. We should know where we are returning. It is in this non-reactive, or what we call the proactive question or contemplation, that we may choose to seek opportunity from crisis. This potentiality becomes obscured when we are focused on the loss of the familiar as opposed to venturing into the newness or change. This tipping point is precisely where transformation occurs. Do we gaze into the unfolding potential of change, or do we focus on the loss of the familiar? Your answer reveals your relationship between loss and opportunity. Ultimately, the question is whether we choose to freeze in the panic of the unfamiliar, or we seek to opportunize the new territory that's unfolding for us. What is something new? After this, what will happen? The former presents anxiety and retreat. We will really feel depressed if we focus on the loss. The latter evokes growth. Release your hold on loss and embrace your relationship with opportunity. This is from a psychotherapist, Mel Schwartz. And we all know that the only constant thing in the universe is change. What we call crisis is simply the occurrence of change. We are not the masters of change, but if we know where to turn to and where to return to, then we can ride the waves of change and often turn it into opportunity. Where do we turn to? Or where do we return to? We have God. God with us. Always with us. From crisis to opportunity. A pursuit of meaning. Strengthening our spiritual, emotional, psychological, and physical immune system. First is develop your relationship with God. Pray always. Let God and let go. You know, whenever Jesus would feel weak, would feel that he is in crisis or that feel he is tired, he always go to a deserted place and um, pray to his Father and let God in his life. Let God let go. Surrender. Next is read and meditate the scriptures. Be still. Be still. God reveals himself through the word and speaks in the silence of our hearts. We will be able to know the pattern of God in our life if we know the scriptures. If we would know God better if we read his word in the scripture. Read and meditate. This also helps us in our mental wellness. Reading the scriptures. Fast. It does not only detoxify your body, it detoxifies your spirit. You know, when you are full and you pray, go to pray, it will be difficult to pray. You will just sleep in prayer. You fast. It helps you pray better, and it helps you become stronger in body and spirit. Be aware always. Constantly examine your conscience and consciousness. Um, Being aware is being alert. Yeah. What is conscience and consciousness? Conscience is something that we know it's in our mind what is right and what is wrong. Sometimes we feel guilty, and in our conscience we know what is right and what is wrong. But being consciousness is being alert and being aware of what is happening in you. What you do when people don't see you is who you really are. Because God sees you. You never can hide anything from God. So be aware always. Count your blessings and develop a spirit of gratitude, and you will realize that everything is a gift. You know, in the convent, whenever we wake up in the morning, the bell rings. No? The bell rings, and the prayer leader would say, "Let us bless the Lord." And even if we are still in our rooms, we would respond, "Thanks be to God." Because it's a new day. When you wake up and you are still able to wake up in the morning, it's already a blessing, something to be grateful about. Because you know, other people, they don't wake up anymore. Diba yung mga binabangungot? When you are still able to breathe, thank God, it's a blessing. Others would need ventilator. Us, it's free. We can still breathe on our own. Others would need ventilator, and ventilator is very expensive. And God is giving it to us for free. When you wake up and you are still with your family, be grateful that they are still alive, you are still together. Be grateful. Count your blessings. Be grateful. Everything is a gift. That's why also the gift is also called present. Be grateful for the present moment. You do not know what will happen tomorrow. So be grateful for what is present because the present is a gift. Develop your relationship with yourself. Love yourself because God created you in his image and likeness, and he loves you. You will not be capable of loving others if you do not love yourself, because you cannot give what you yourself do not have. You should have something first at your hand. You should know how to love yourself first before you can learn how to love other people. Forgive. Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for you. It frees and empowers you. You know, when you cannot forgive, the other person has already moved on in life and is already happy in life, and you are still enslaved by your unforgiveness, by your hurt. To forgive is not for the other person, it's for you. And and maybe you would ask, how many times should you forgive? It's in Matthew 18:22, 70 times 77 times. It means infinite. Try to forgive. It will really free you. You know where our buhol, our cancer comes from? It's from that grudge, from those hurt that you are keeping all these years. And the one who offended you already moved on in life. They are now happy, and you are still there, enslaved na hang up ka. No, that's why we call it a hang up. Exercise your body. Breathe, sunbathe, eat, and drink healthy. Suddenly, we become aware of our health because we are afraid of the virus. Take care of the temple of your spirit. Boost your immune system. And it will also boost your moods, and you will stay healthy in your relationship with yourself and with others as well. Develop your relationship with others. So if you already learned how to love yourself, then you can already love others. Ask yourself, if you, the way you take care of yourself, the way you love yourself is how you would love others back. And who is my neighbor? Who is the other? Yeah, neighbor. It becomes it doesn't become the other anymore. No? It's the story of the Samaritan, the good Samaritan. You know that story. Go back to it. So who is my neighbor? So when you are in pain, you don't anymore ask the one who will help you. Are you a Samaritan? Are you a Jew? Are you a priest? When you are in need, when you are in need, any help will be, you will be grateful for any help. How to love? It's in 1 Corinthians 13:4-8. Love is patient, love is kind, love is forgiving, love is not jealous. So review that one. How do we love? Be proactive, positive, and appreciative. Don't be serious about yourself. We are all perfectly imperfect. No one is perfect. Otherwise, we would not need God anymore as our Savior. We can already be canonized if you are perfect. If you do. Lahat tayo may kanya-kanya racket. Lahat tayo may kanya-kanyang discarded sa buhay. So just appreciate the other person. And we are all carrying a burden. The other person you do not know, that person is also carrying a burden in his shoulders. That's why sometimes the person is angry or grouchy, maybe angry about his or her situation or about himself. So just be appreciative, positive, and be proactive, not reactive. Proactive is looking at the situation and seeing what sense can we make out of the situation? How can we respond to a situation? To respond. No? The responsibility means the ability to respond. Be respectful in words and deeds. I don't know if it's in the other's life. We are all the same, but also unique. We are all the same. So we have to be respectful. And as Saint Pope Francis said, who are we to judge? Learn to say, please, thank you, sorry, excuse me, I love you, great job. Sometimes we are so madamot in appreciating other people and telling you've done a great job, um, you did very well, you're very creative. Sometimes we forget and we don't say it. You know, when we see the negative in another person and we are not respectful, it's because uh, we want to look better than them. We point out their mistakes, their negativity. It's because we want to look better. Yeah. But be respectful in words and deeds. Be positive. Appreciate and learn from your negative contrast experiences. If you have experienced being rejected, being bullied, being what else? Being betrayed, don't worry. Hindi naman kayo namatay doon, di ba? It doesn't kill you. Actually, it builds your character. They build your character. The negative contrast experiences. Those who are strong in life, they have gone through a lot of difficulties, a lot of trials in life. Those who are weak, those are the persons who are afraid of pain. So, and as the athletes would tell us, no pain, no gain. This is where we can be resilient and strong in facing the storm. So we are just this crisis will just pass, and it will be the Filipinos. They know all kinds of calamities, and we have gone through it, and we were able to to survive everything and pass through it with a smile. And then maybe I could add in develop your relationship with others. Smile. It's very contagious, and it would help the other people be consoled with your smile. Even if the other people maybe is angry, and if you smile, it will ease their burden. So smile always. Develop your relationship with nature. Suddenly, we are now in panic of our environment, and now with this pandemic, with the lockup, we go back to what is basic and essential with all the modern sciences. We all go back to washing of the hands, no, of cleaning our rooms. You know what is good in this quarantine? I was able to clean my room, declutter my room and office, and see only what is essential. Difficult to keep things which you do not really need or not essential in your life. It will just accumulate dust, and the virus can be there. So go back to what is basic and essential in life. Cleanliness keeps the virus away. And there is also a saying, cleanliness is next to godliness. Plant a tree or take care of a plant. It is therapeutic. It's the trees, the plants that give us oxygen. So don't kill them. Don't cut the trees. Otherwise, we will be all needing ventilators. If there are no air, there is no air anymore, and it's actually the trees, the greens, the plants which give us oxygen. Take care of our Mother Earth, and she will take care of us. Remember the 5 R's of the reduce, reuse of environment of ecology, reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse, wrap, or compost. So let's go back to Holy Week, since we are already at the almost Easter season is the longest season in the liturgical year. It's not Christmas. It's Easter. We are Easter people, people who are alive. So let's go back to the Holy Week. What really happened, especially on Black Saturday? Let's first go back a little bit on Holy Thursday. What happened on Holy Thursday? Remember that last Holy Thursday we celebrated the Mass of the Last Supper, and sometimes, if it's a normal situation, there will be washing of the feet. On Holy Thursday, this was the time Jesus was explaining to the disciples. He gathered the disciples, explained to them what will happen on Good Friday. It's sort of a catechesis for them, explaining to them, because on Good Friday, when Jesus was being nailed on the cross, how can he explain to the disciple what is happening? This is my body, when he cannot even breathe or speak, when blood is flowing from all parts of his body. So he already explained it on Holy Thursday. So it is the ritualization of Good Friday. To do this in memory of me. On Good Friday, it fulfills what he taught to the disciples. His body was given for our salvation so that we may live. And he said, do this in memory of me, so that in time of crisis, you will remember that I offered my life for you. You will remember that I love you. You will remember that even if you are unfaithful, I will always be faithful. Remember that when you are in crisis, I am there. I will be there carrying the cross with you. That's why Jesus is asking us to remember that time always. So what Jesus did not just leave on Holy Saturday, because Good Friday usually we know that Jesus already died on the cross. So what happens on Good Saturday? Jesus worked still on Holy Saturday. He went down to the realm of the dead. Truly, he goes to seek out. The next slide. Truly, he goes to seek out our first parents, like a lost sheep. He wishes to visit those who sit in darkness and in the shadow of death. He goes to free the prisoner Adam and his fellow prisoner Eve from their pains, who is God and Adam's son. So as soon as Jesus died, he went to the realm of the dead and fetched our ancestors who were there trapped in what we call purgatory, or wherever they are, trapped there. And Jesus brought them with his resurrection. Next slide. The Lord goes into them holding his victorious weapon, his cross. Cross. When Adam, the first created man, sees him, he strikes his breast in terror and calls out, "My Lord be with you all." This is, this is our response to Masna. And Christ in reply says to Adam, "And with yours too." And grasping his hands, he raises him up, Adam, Eve, and all the ancestors, saying, "Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give you light." Next. "I am your God," says Lord, "who for your sake became your son, who for you and your descendants now speak and command with authority those in prison. Come forth, and those in darkness have light, and those who sleep rise." So, as a way of like a message from us sisters, we would like to share with you um, a video which we made. It's not a profession. It was not professionally made, but it's just way of saying to you all, especially to our frontliners, to all those affected by the COVID-19, that Jesus is with us always. So fear not. This will all pass. Can we play the video?
Con la tempesta è caduto il trucco di quegli stereotipi con cui mascheravamo i nostri ego, sempre preoccupati della propria immagine. Ed è rimasta scoperta ancora una volta quella benedetta appartenenza comune alla quale non possiamo sottrarci, l'appartenenza come fratelli. Signore, ci rivolgi un appello alla fede, che non è tanto credere che tu esista, ma venire a te e fidarsi di te.
Try
Thank you very much, Iris.
Okay, thank you, sister. Before we move on to our question and answer, we will have a few minutes of break, so please stand by.